UFC 311 is in about a day and a half's time. It's early Friday morning right now, and I was just scrolling the odds, the betting lines, as one does, and I think I found a glitch in the system, and so I want to put it out to the world, and maybe at least one person is able to make some cash money. And the fight I'm talking about pertains to this one: Zachary Reese versus Azamat Bekoev. Bekoev is I believe maybe 4 or 5 days ago, it announced he came in on short notice for his UFC debut. He came in for Cedric Dumas, and when this fight got announced, I was on Big Marcel's Instagram looking at the comments, and I've seen comments like, "Oh, is Zachary cooked? Oh, he got a harder fight. Than this is a harder fight than the original opponent, or Dumas." And then I've seen a couple comments. No, I don't know. Actually, I don't know. So I went to do my own due diligence. So I went on Bekoev's topology, and I've actually watched all four of these LFA fights. And after watching them, I think there is some money to be made. Let me go on the odds right now. Where is it? Here it is. The money line currently on DraftKings. Zachary is a plus 160 underdog. I believe a couple of days ago, he was actually, it was more spread out. Reese was a higher underdog, so the lines got closed up a bit. Um, but I very much disagree with these odds. So the first thing that pops up here on Bekoev's record is this split decision victory to Dylan Budka. This was a year and a half ago, 2023. And if you don't know Dylan Budka, he is currently signed with the UFC, 7-4 record. He's a young guy, 25 years old. But um, if you have not seen his fights, he's been pretty terrible. Um, he was in the Contender Series in September 2023. So I think what 2 3 months after after his Bekayev loss, I think it was a light heavyweight, short notice, and it was one of the most boring fights, Contender Series fights I've ever seen. And I was shocked to see that Dana White actually gave him a contract. And this was, I think, the week before he declined. What's his name? Herrera's boy, the kickboxer, Yusri Belgari. He denied. He didn't know. He denied Tulio when Tulio beat Belgari. He was not impressed with that fight, and that fight was a lot better than this. What's his name? Budka fight. And people were like raging, like, how are you giving Budka a contract and not Tulio? But yeah, so he gets a contract, and in his UFC debut, he gets Cesar Almeida. I think this was Almeida's debut as well. And Almeida is a K1 kickboxer, beat Pereira in kickboxing, but he was very new to MMA, so it was kind of understood that or implied that he had no ground game. And Budka's a very accomplished wrestler, good college wrestler. I think he went to was it Duke or something? He went to a good school for wrestling. Um, and yeah, he shit the bed. Did terrible take. Was not. I don't think he was able to take down Almeida at all. Was doing terrible attempts, and he eventually got TKO'd, covered up. Um, and then a couple months later, fights Petrosky. In my opinion, an embarrassing performance. Looked like he missed weight, and it looked like he didn't. He wasn't even trying that well. His head was not in the game, and now he has a fight against Shabazz, and it's going to be interesting. But yeah, the reason I'm even talking about Budka is because Bekoev went to a split with him back in June 2023. I watched this whole fight, um, and I was shocked. I think the reason Bekoev is a favorite is because his last name ends in EV, and he's a Russian guy. And people are just like, oh shit, he's a Russian guy. crazy wrestler. He's a beast. And that's kind of how I was assuming to how he'd be as well, to be honest. Until I seen his Budka fight. Let me tell you, on the feet, Bekoev is not that impressive, and I'm just talking about this fight. We're gonna get to the other LFA fights, but he was getting wobbled by Budka a couple times in round two, like wobbled badly. He was barely able to take down Budka, and Budka is a good wrestler, but his takedown defense is not amazing. Petrosky was taking him down every minute. Yeah, and he scraped by. He honestly, the fight could have gone either way, but on the feet, Budka was getting tagged up, or not Budka. Beckel was getting tagged up a lot. Got wobbled multiple times. And I was like, oh wow, okay. But maybe Budka had a amazing fight of his life then. And another thing, the couple times Beckel did get on top, he was not dangerous whatsoever. No ground and pound, no submission threat. I think two times he tried to get him in like a arm triangle choke, but it was not very tight at all. And I mean, there's even a moment, I think the fifth round, he was holding Budka against the cage the whole time, no damage. And I think Budka actually got around to one of the scorecards because he was just elbowing in the side. And I think that's important as we get into the Reese matchup. But yeah, so I watched that fight, was not very impressed. It was a really good fight, though, by the way. Um, but yeah, his next fight, I watched. This was in December 2023. Lucas Fernando. This guy fought in the Contender Series against, guess who? Cesar Almeida. I believe he was a heavy favorite, or maybe not heavy, but okay, moderate favorite, minus 270. And he kind of shit the bed. I remember him getting even taken down by Almeida, which was crazy. So I think it's safe to say his takedown defense is not amazing. So after this guy Lucas Fernando lost to Almeida Contender Series, he came back to defend his title in LFA against Bekoev, who was the interim middleweight title holder. And this was a easy, not easy, but definite win for Bekoev. But every time they were on the feet, he was getting tagged up really bad. He got knocked down with a flying knee in the second round. His leg was getting destroyed by calf kicks in the first round until Bekoev would eventually take him down and would do no damage whatsoever. Just lay on him, and he got stood up multiple times. And even a couple times, there was like a triangle attempt at one time. Fernando was able to do some sweeps. Basically, what I'm saying is Bekoev had like a lot of what's the word? A lot of fault. He's doing a lot of errors that you're not typically would see like a crazy Russian guy like someone in the Khabib camp or something. You'd be like, oh wow, he got sweep there. Or, oh, that's a bad takedown. He just fell on his back, something like that. Um, but yeah, it was a definite win, but on the feet, he was looking very suspect. And I was just thinking that whole fight, wow, if this is Zachary Reese, he's gonna get he will knock him out, I guarantee it, by the shots he was eating by Fernando. So yeah, I watched a little bit of this guy, his LFA debut, Renato Valiente. Even in the first round, Bekoev was like getting hit with some really good shots. And this is Valiente guy's like 9-5. I think now he's 10-6 or something. Not a great record, or maybe 10-7 or some shit. 10-7, yeah, not a great record. And Bekoev was getting hit with some really good shots, and I'm like, oh wow, that does not look good. Um, and yeah, pretty much from the Fernando fight, I kind of saw that Bekoev has like no finishing ability. Not his striking is but he gets hit a lot. I mean, he's getting hurt a lot in these fights, and that's not a good sign against Reese. Against this is his most recent fight, Chauncey Foxworth. who's 19-10. If you go on this guy's record, he's actually fought a lot of UFC vets and shit. But yeah, that fight, Foxworth was like throwing crazy, was way too reckless, and eventually he got KO'd. But uh, I don't know. I'm not putting too much into that because Foxworth was going crazy, and he even hit back with some good shots as well. So this goes into um, the fight Zachary Reese and Bekoev, where I think Reese should be the favorite. This is Remember, this is Bekoev's I think 4 or 5 days notice. And one thing I do have to say about him, he has really good cardio. All those fights except the first one, Valente or whatever, but all these fights were 5 rounders, and he looked like he had good gas. And when he would get wobbled and hurt a bunch of times in these fights, he did come back right away, which means his cardio is really good. So that's one thing coming from, or that's a good positive for him. But I don't know, man. All those fights, when I would see him get tagged up, when I would see him get wobbled, knocked down by these opponents, and I'm thinking, bro, if that's Zachary Reese, he's knocking you out in 1 round. And I think it's another benefit for Reese that Bekoev, I don't think he has any finishing potential on the ground. He just lays there. He does no damage, no strikes, doesn't have a submission threat. And I think even if Reese gets taken down, I think he could pull up a triangle or some shit because Reese has really good, he has a good guard off his back, good jiu-jitsu. This is Fernando almost got a triangle on his back against Bekoev. So that's another positive for Reese. And I don't think Reese will be able to get finished. Maybe he could lose a decision, but I honestly think he's going to knock Bekoev out. Maybe in 1 round. I think Zachary Reese is really dangerous. I don't know if you've seen him fight. He got in the UFC on the Contender Series, and all his fights were finishes. And then he has a debut against Cody Brundage, which it was a crazy slam by Brundage, but this Brundage is kind of a fluke. He locked up a really nice triangle, and it was in. But Brundage just went like fuck it, and he slammed him, TKO'd him. And then his next fight destroys Marquez. Beautiful uppercut in like 20 seconds. Yeah, 20 seconds. Knocks him out crazy. Beats the brakes off of this Bolivian guy, a human punching bag, but it's still good that he won 3 hard rounds, which is going to be good because we had never seen that before. And I'm really, I think, I don't think it should be underdog. I think you could make some really good money off of Zachary Reese win, or even maybe like a finish or something. I think Zachary Reese will win by finish. So yeah, that's my money hack, maybe betting hack. I think the odds got it wrong. I think people are putting too much into the OEV ending, the Russian. Oh, like wow, this guy's gonna be so good. Let me tell you, this guy is not like one of those Russian aura guys like from the Khabib camp, or even like like a Shavkat. Like I know he's not Russian, but you know what I mean. Like crazy wrestling, crazy. Oh, he's dominating guys from start to finish. No, no, he's not. He's getting hurt a lot. He does a lot of mistakes. He has he has pretty good wrestling and takedowns, but I see a lot of mistakes that I would not suspect a Russian to have. So yeah, hey, if you're watching this, I highly recommend put some money on Zachary Reese to win.